Craftytube, I hope all's well. My name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty, here on YouTube and on Instagram. It is Thursday the 17th of November 2022 and this is going to be a video about my knitting, crochet, stuffed animals and wool appliqué, and then a couple of other things that I've either been trying or thinking of trying. So yeah, if any of those things interest you, I would like to say at the beginning, I'm a complete novice at all of them. So please don't expect great things. So if any of that is interesting, then I hope you'll stay around. It has been a long time since I've done a Craftytube video, mainly just life, and I need to get a lot more organised, which is a video I'm going to do at the beginning of January. I think a bit like everybody with crafting activities, they sort of go, right, start of new year, new plans, new organisation. I'm no different, I'll be doing exactly the same thing. But I thought I'd catch you up to date for now, and hopefully I'll have a few more videos over the winter time, and then it'll quieten off during the summertime again. So let's start with the crochet. I have a finish, quite a big finish, and it is, your balance very precariously on a load of board games at the moment, so I don't want to topple you off. I started the Harbour Blanket cowl from Attic 24. I bought the kit from the Wool Warehouse. This is now her second sort of blanket crochet along that I've joined in with. I never keep to the time scale that she sets out in her blog, but I like to buy the kit from the Wool Warehouse. I think it's incredibly good value. I like the fact that it's all there, and either the pattern is normally included or you can find it on her blog. Lots of photos, lots of details. Really, really good for a novice crocheter. It's a fantastic route to go down. So this is an absolutely huge blanket, and I didn't put the borders on it. So let me see if I can stand up and hold it up for you. So we go from the start of here, and it goes across and across. I would say it's definitely a decent single, or if you put it across the bottom of a double bed, it would take up a good half of the bed. So it's just all these gorgeous, gorgeous colours. I have missed out one row of one particular colour because I didn't have enough thread left, which is unusual, and I think that mainly came about because it was the same thread I used to start off with down there at the bottom, and I had quite a palaver getting this one. I don't know, do you cast on in crochet? Yeah, it took me a lot of goes, a lot of unthreading, or a lot of sort of ripping back, and after a certain point I think the yarn was just going, we've had enough, so I had to cut that bit off. And yeah, it was just one of those. I have oh, and this is, I think this is called a ripple stitch. So it's just a very, very simple, very repetitive, methodical pattern. Once you've got it, and it's so easy. Yeah, absolutely love it. Very, very warm considering it's got holes in it. Dog really enjoyed it when I was getting this out to work on it. He had seen launch across onto the sofa and snuggle down underneath it with me. As I said, I didn't put the border on. It would probably look even better. I'm sure it would look even better with a border. But I had, by the time I got to the last sort of row, mentally I was just over it. I'd forgotten completely about the fact that there was supposed to be a border on it. And when I sort of read that in the instructions, I just thought, oh, I just don't want to. So I didn't, because it's my blanket, so I can do what I want. Yeah, absolutely love it. As I said, this is the second one of hers that I have made. All those gorgeous, gorgeous colours. This was the Harbour Blanket cowl, and I'm sure at the Wool Warehouse, well, I'm not sure, I don't know. If you go and have a look at the Wool Warehouse, they may well still have packs left. So as I was finishing that one, she bought out another, I think I bought this a month, 6 weeks ago now. She bought out another blanket, and this is called the Fireside Blanket, and you get the pattern within the chart this time. So it's a whole load of, I don't think they are quite granny squares. They're not far off it. The middle bit just looks slightly different to a granny square middle. But yeah, so lots of different sizes of squares that you then sew together, and again, a nice big border on it. And now this one, sorry, and that's the name there, Attic24. You can follow her on Instagram, or she has a blog. If you put in Attic24 on the internet, Google, it will bring her up. I haven't taken all these lovely colours out of my organza bag because I don't actually intend on starting this one until next summer. What I'm hoping is that I'll be able to spend the summer making the little individual squares as I sit in the garden, and then put it all together in the autumn time, so that I'm not trying to do it in the heat with a massive blanket. And these are slightly different, I think, yarns. So this is Stylecraft Highland Heathers DK, still 100% premium acrylic, approximately 272 meters, and this shade is Firth. It's a lot darker than it's showing. I've got a very strong light on because it is raining cats and dogs out there, and yeah, the lighting was just dreadful. But so we've got all these lovely colours to use. So when I get round to that, it will hopefully end up looking something similar to that. Won't be exact, but it'll be something similar. Mine are never exact, I always go wrong somewhere. So yeah, so that's really the crochet up to date. She had bought out another pattern, which I think Wool Warehouse launched yesterday as such. The packs were available to buy yesterday, and I did have my phone set, reminder on my phone, and I was going to buy it, and I thought, no, just don't be silly, you've already got one waiting to be done. She has lots and lots of patterns. There are still packs available from older patterns, and even if there aren't packs available, you know, she quite clearly lists all the colours that she's used, so you'll either be able to put it together yourself or do something similar. So I just thought, no, just take a pull, finish the one you've got, and then order another one. So that was my big crochet completion, obviously the Harbour Blanket, and my plans for next year. So having finished the crochet, I decided that I'd move on to a bit of knitting. I learned to crochet and knit during both lockdowns over 2020 and 2021. So I'm still very novice, very newbie. I've had some spectacular fails and a few things that have been okay and worked out all right. But I really wanted to do a few more knitting projects. So I have been, is it Woolyknits? They'll be the undoing of me, I tell you. They keep on putting through emails with offers on, and I keep on buying cones of yarn because it's pretty and thinking, oh, I'll do something with it. But I thought I really need to start doing something with it. So I went on to Ravelry, which again, I absolutely love. I know there's a few issues, but I love it. And I do always put, when I'm filtering through what I would like, I always put a free pattern on the filter. Not because I don't want to pay for pattern, I'm more than happy to pay for pattern, but I am still very novice, very newbie, and it would be just my luck that I would put in, you know, easy into the filter, and I would pay for the pattern, open it up and go, hey, I don't really understand what that is. So I still tend to go for the free ones because it just means I can download it, look at it, yeah, I get that, I know what I'm supposed to do with that, or no, need to shelve that to the side, and once I've done a few more projects and learned a few more techniques, I'll pick that up. So the project I chose this time, long-winded, the project I chose this time is called the Subtle Interpretation Shawl, which I found on Ravelry. I'm sorry, I don't do editing, so I'm just going to find it. And it is a pattern from Espace Tricot, I think, possibly. Does it say? Yes, it just says published in Espace Tricot. And there isn't a named designer. So this, now I just have to work out the reflections. This is essentially what I'm making. So it is I'm going to check because my maths is not very good. An inverted isosceles trapezoid shape. If you understood any of that, well done. I have chosen to use a dark blue cone and a light blue cone. As I said, I bought these from Woolyknits when they were on offer, and this is an acrylic wool cone. I think it's 4-ply, which is what the pattern calls for, and I'm using the needles that it calls for. And so far, this is where I've got to. It's yeah, it's getting obviously longer and longer and longer. It is now taking me about 20 minutes to do a row. Really, really simple pattern. It does increase, oh, that's not, flick it over my shoulder. It's not showing that very well. It is slowly increasing on the side. It's basically, you know, you just keep repeating the same pattern again, and I've worked it through, and I think I need 11 light blue rounds in it. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm about to put my 9th in. You see all my little stitch markers? About to put my 9th in. So I'll have another 2 full rounds, and then I think I will be casting off. That is what the pattern says. However, I'm not convinced it's going to be big enough. Now, I didn't do a gauge swatch because it's a shawl and because I've just got lots of the threads, so I thought I can just keep going. It's a very easy pattern to just keep repeating and keep going. I cast on the correct number of stitches, and I appreciate this is all bunched up, and what I probably ought to do is try and stretch it out a bit and measure it from one side to the other. But to my mind, this looks really quite long. And I'm not sure, even with another 2 repeats, that I'm going to be at that length. So short of getting a measuring tape and sort of measuring it, if anybody's got any good ideas, because I'm really enjoying it. I've got plenty of yarn. I think it's a very simple pattern to just keep repeating. It's very lightweight, so it's not like I'm going to sort of, you know, if I do more, it's going to become too heavy. I can't see a problem with me adding a few extra rounds on it if I don't think it's quite long enough. If anyone can think of an obvious problem, please let me know. But yeah, so it's basically stockinette and then 2 rounds where you're slipping some stitches. As I said, it is under an easy beginner's pattern. It has proved to be. The only slightly fiddly bit is when you introduce your new colour, and the first stitch is a knit front and back, and I'm a little bit cat-handed trying to hold everything, introduce a new colour, knit front and back, make sure I'm holding the correct tails. I end up with a huge great big stitch that's about this, and I have to sort of pull it all in, and I mean I get it eventually, but it's still not something I do just without thinking about it. It does take a bit of tongue sticking out concentration, but yeah, other than that, it's a really, really easy, repetitive, simple pattern, and I'm really enjoying it. At the moment, it just looks like a little bit of a skirt, but yeah, I'm not quite sure about the sizing. I suppose I just need to measure it really. So that was the first knitting project, and I started this because I'd been thinking about it for a long time. I think, oh, I really want to start it once I finished the crochet. And then I went to the knitting and stitching show at Alexandra Palace in October with a friend. It's the first time I've ever been. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I had found another pattern on Ravelry, another free one, and it was a really simple cowl, and I just thought, well, I'll make for the children, because they'll really appreciate that. I'll make them a cowl each for Christmas to go in their stocking. And so I sort of put that one aside, and I found these lovely balls of Debbie Bliss Rialto Luxury Sock, the super wash wool, and it's 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And it is what the pattern calls for. So I started the first one and it has a stretchy German cast on. I think it's basic, it's very similar to the long tail cast on, just with an extra twist in it, which it took me a while to master, but I got it. I was quite happy with it in the end. It did take a lot of pulling back before I eventually got it to the point that I was happy with it. And then you start with a rib, and this is for a cowl. So you start with a rib and then it's just very simple stockinette, finish with a rib and another casty, not another casty, another stretchy cast off. And I just wasn't happy with this yarn. Now it's the yarn, it's the correct weight, it's the correct everything, it's length in the ball of yarn, blah, 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 correct needle size. I just thought it was coming up, I don't know if you can see this particular, I just thought it was coming up quite wholly. Just sort of, the picture, which is on there, but it's not very easy to find, the picture is of quite a tight knit. The picture is of far more of it's that sort of, with ribbing, but it's, you know, it's solid. It's not particularly wholly. And this, and I didn't know, I was struggling with it. I was really struggling with it. And I'm just not happy with the way it's worked out. So I then thought, right, maybe it's just me. So I started then, I went up a needle size. I used the correct needle size for the wool that we've got, for the wool that I'm using. And it's come up much better with a different, and this is a acrylic alpaca. What size is it? It's just a D, well, it's a DK, so I suppose it is a lot thicker, but it called for whatever this is, I can't remember. It's a, well, it's a sock yarn, but I think, is it a 4-ply or no, it's a lace weight, I think. Anyway, whatever it was, I wasn't happy with what I was getting with this. So I've abandoned that project. But my question is, with this yarn now, and I'm sure this is, actually I think this could be a fingering weight. It's very thin. My question is, I've now got 3 balls of this, which I would like to use, and I do love the colours. Is this the sort of thing I should now add some fluff with, mohair or something like that? I won't do it now because I think trying to knit with 2 strands of floss might just make me explode. I'm not competent enough yet to do that, but I would like to use this wool at some point for something. So is this the sort of thing I can add fluff to? I don't know. If you have any suggestions, apart from socks, if you have any suggestions of what I can make with this, and why, I'm sure these are the correct size needles, or maybe this isn't, maybe I have gone up one, but I used the correct size needles for the yarn, and it just came up really wholly, and I don't like it. So I've abandoned that, and I'm carrying on with my subtle interpretation shawl. So if you've got any ideas of either what I'm doing wrong, because if you pull too tight, you then can't physically get the needle between the threads to then continue knitting. But I don't think I knit particularly loosely either. So that is a project that's been shelved for the moment, but if you have any ideas of what I can do with this to not have wholly yarn or wholly products, then that would be great. So that's the knitting at the moment. I'm just going to carry on with my subtle interpretation shawl, and then once that is finished, I will then find something else to do. So the next project I completed, I think we'll go on to this one. It's my dandy dragon. Now this is a kit. I've already made the hen. This is a kit I bought from, gosh, it's quite big, difficult to fit him in the frame. This is a kit I bought from House of Zandra, Z-A-N-D-R-A. And they are online. I often come across them at quilt shows. And a few years ago, when 5-6 years ago when I started going to quilt shows, they only had a few animals. They were all lovely, but they only had probably, I don't know, 10, 15. And now their stall is absolutely chock-a-block full of all these fantastic animals, and you can buy it as a kit. I think you might, I don't think you can buy the patterns individually, so you can buy it as a kit, and it's really, really a very affordable kit. You get quite a lot of leftover felt within it. Or you can buy felt packs. They've sort of done either colours together or animals, and you can just buy the felt packs. But I don't think you can buy the patterns individually. So as I said, I've already done the turkey, and I'm now done the dandy dragon. Looks like Basil Fox there, doesn't he? Basil brush. And I have a fox to do, actually. And I have spent this last couple of months I've been going to quilt shows, and I've seen them and I keep going, no, I'm not buying any more until I finish the ones that I've got, because it's so easy just to keep buying them and sticking them in a drawer. So yes, so here comes, welcome Puff to the world. He's cool. These are fantastic. They're such great projects to do. I would say this probably took me about a week of just, you know, sort of evenings, and yeah. The only thing that isn't included is the stuffing. He did need a lot of stuffing. He's a big boy. So there we go. So that's my stuffed dragon, and I will be moving on to the fox next. Shall I put him? Oh, I don't think you'll be able to see him anyway. I can just see him peering over the top there. There we go. You can sit there for the moment. And then the next thing I've tried is some wool applique. So I've never really done this before. You'll be able to tell when you see the state of these. But again, I was at a quilt show, and there was a company called Liberty Bell that's based in England, and they do a lot of wool. Now, you don't get much wool applique in England, I don't find personally. And they import a lot of the Buttermilk Basin patterns and kits. They have some of their own kits. Yeah, they just have, you know, but they're fairly well all wool applique. And I'd seen their stalls a couple of times, thought, oh, those are lovely, those are lovely. And then I sort of started talking to the lady on the stall, and I said, oh, I'd really like to start, but what, you know, everyone for wool applique always seems to use scraps. And I said, I haven't got any wool to have scraps because I haven't done any projects. And she said, well, start with a kit, and then you'll have a few bits left over, and then you'll know whether you enjoy it, and you can move on. So I signed up for I don't know how many months it was. I think I got 2 per month. 1, 2, 3. I think it was 4 or 5 months. So, you know, direct debit, they just shipped it out. And I signed up for the, I'm sure I had an overall name, but basically the autumn ornaments from Buttermilk Basin. And so I have made an owl on a pumpkin, well, an owl on a log on a pumpkin. And these colours are, these are a little bit darker, as I said, the light's not fantastic. I've done a ghost, I haven't finished him, I've got to go around the edge of him. A ghost in a pumpkin with candy corn and I don't know what that is actually, the purple and yellow thing. I didn't know when I was making it, and for some reason I'm just blanking. And I've made this one, which is the crow. Again, on a pumpkin with buttons. Everything comes in the kit. Reasonably generous with the wool that you get in it. You know, I have been quite careful of how I've been cutting it out, just so that I did have some extra wool saved over, so I could do a bit of, you know, trying and testing with various other patterns. So those are the 3 that I've made. I've still got autumn pumpkin ornament. You can see it just comes in the kit, comes with a little cord. I think I am going to put this onto it's not a wreath. No, again, mine's gone completely blank. Hooty owl ornament. Pumpkin in wagon ornament. Fall owl in pumpkin ornament. and the pumpkin spice mug ornament. So yeah, so I've still got those ones to do. I've done those 3. I didn't realise I had quite so many left to do. Again, you know, a really easy pick up, put down, do it in stages, sort of project to do. As I said, the kits are all very well kitted, and they've been very, you know, reasonably generous with their fabric. So I will continue on with those. I'm not going to try and do anything Christmas-wise. I'll just get those done and dusted. I have been using, because this is always what I don't really know about Woolyknits. Everyone sort of seems to talk about Valdani threads, which are absolutely lovely, but A, I don't have any, and B, I don't really feel the need to go and buy a whole load in case I didn't enjoy it. And as it happens, at the Alexandra Palace Knitting and Stitching Show, I signed up for a subscription of Today's Quilter, which is a magazine that I've had for a few years now that I really, really like, quilting magazine. And as a prize or an extra for signing up for a subscription to it on the day, you got to choose an extra. And I choose these Metler threads, this packet of Metler threads. And yeah, they've been fantastic. They've come in, you know, they're absolutely fantastic for all these little wool applique. I've just, yeah, there's quite a few colours. The only colour I struggle with is the green, actually. It either seems to be quite bright or not autumnal green. But anyway, other than that, so those are the threads I've been using. So that was all handy. As I said, it's Liberty Bell. I will write a whole load of these things down in the description below. They have lots of different kits available. I think this particular sort of kit of the month has finished. Whether they'll repeat it or whether they're now doing Christmas one, I don't know. But if you're interested in wool applique, these are really good to start off with. Very simple, very easy, small enough that you won't get bored. I mean, I can now sort of do one of these over 2 lunch times really, or 3 lunch times. Yeah, so they're really good. So that was the wool applique. Oh, what is it called? You hang it and things dangle down off of it. Bunting. Bunting, but without the actual triangular bunting. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's not a wreath. All that is coming to mind is a wreath. But I'm going to hang it from something. Another thing I've bought that I haven't started yet, and this was at the Festival of Quilts I went to for the first time, basically because it's in the middle of, it's in August, so we're normally always busy. Managed to go this time. Not convinced I'm going to rush back, but there are other quilt shows I'd rather go to. But anyway, one of the things I bought whilst I was there was this little mini Christmas pudding from Ashmead Designs. Now this company basically, let me read this, is makers of English paper piecing kits and home of Hexiform. And Hexiform is fabric that's been pre-cut to the sizes that you use instead of the paper within the EPP, and you can leave it in there. And so it's a bit like batting, but it's a lot closer knit and it's a lot thinner. But it does, I was thinking about using it for a quilt I'm starting in December, but actually cost-wise, it's just going to be a bit too much for me personally. But yeah, so they essentially, what they do is they have lots of different designs. So they have hexagons. You can buy a pack of 60 and you can get them in 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch, all the way up to 4 inches. You can get squares, pentagons, curves, Dresden plate. And yeah, so basically people are buying these instead of using paper within English paper piecing projects, and you just leave it in, you can wash it, you can just use it as you would with everything else. And so as I said, I had thought about it, but I don't think I am going to use it on reflection. However, I have bought a kit. So this is the Hexiform here. If you can cope with the crinkling, I will get this out actually, sorry. Right, so this is a bit better. Rather than me trying to cat-handedly explain it, let me actually show you. So get it up to there. So this side is a little bit fuzzier. That side is flat. And that is the width of it. So obviously within this pattern, I've got the coloured ones because I've got the browns. Yeah, I've got some bigger browns and some bigger creams, but this is just for a kit. So I think normally when you buy them, they are all just this plain colour. And then have I got the, oh, I lost, oh, don't tell me I've lost those bits. Yeah, I've lost my holly leaves and red berries. I'll have to find those, don't know where they've gone. I'll find them at some point. So that is a kit I will make at some point, but I just thought I'd share it. And I just thought I'd talk about it because this sort of Hexiform, I should imagine is really, really good. Particularly, I would have thought this would have been very good in bag making because it gives you that little bit of stability, a little bit of extra stability. So as I said, I haven't started that, but I will do it at some point. So I think that has basically caught you up to date now with my crafting so far that hasn't been quilting or cross stitch. I have been attending a dressmaking course, so it just so happened it came up on Facebook. There was a beginner's dressmaking course happening literally 5 minutes down the road, and I've never really been into dressmaking, but this summer I happened to buy a pattern for a shirt, just like a really simple t-shirty shirt. It didn't even have a collar on it. Thinking, oh, how hard can it be? Turns out it's quite difficult, particularly if you don't know what you're doing. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go along. It was 2 hours every Monday night for 8 weeks. Really reasonable. I did have, sort of various people said, well, do you think you'll end up making a garment or how do you think it'll work? And I said, well, I hope that what she's actually going to do is take us through various different phases or techniques and we can actually just sit and do those for the 2 hours, because I find if you just do it once and then that's it, done, dusted, when in 6 months' time you go back to it, you can't really remember what you've done. And actually that is what she has done. We're not making garments. So we had one night where we were putting in zips. And so we put in 3 different zippers, 3 different methods. We've got lots of paper with instructions and diagrams on it that we can take home with us. And yeah, it's just been really, really good. I don't think, I will probably make the odd easy item, but that will be it. I won't be going on to any of the other courses just because I enjoyed it, it's not top priority for me. And I think by the time I finish this course, I will know enough to be able to do what I want to do. So yeah, so that's been it. Other than that, I'm getting back into my quilting. I'm hoping to record a Craftytube next week. I've completely finished 2, nearly finished 3rd, started a new one, and I've got a new one to start in December, which I've been buying lots of pretty fabric for. So I'll have lots to talk about in my quilting. So thanks, sorry this has been a bit garbled, sorry it's been a bit jumbled. I just sort of thought, oh, it's really raining. I'm going to record a Craftytube because I've got not much else to do. So anyway, have a good few weeks. Leave any comments with regards, well, you can leave any comments you want to really, but if you've got any comments with regards to my yarn issues and what to make with that yarn or where I've been going wrong with it, that would be great. And otherwise, I will speak to you soon. Take care, bye.